Welcome to Two Psychics. This is Michael Edley, evidential medium and mystic, discussing all things spiritual.
Hello, I'm Mary Amy of Two Psychics, an intuitive wisdom coach, tapping into your mystical life and sharing messages I receive about you.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Two Psychics podcast. This is Michael Edley, psychic medium, here with my fantastic co-host, Mary Amy. How are you this morning, Mary Amy?
Hi, good morning, Michael. Welcome. Here we are. It's episode 64 of Two Psychics. We've been going since January 2024. It's August 28th, 2025, and we're all about today. I guess you could say legitimately the metaphysical tarot, and we have a wonderful guest. And you actually know her, and her name is Lauren.
Yes, Lauren Komanitsky. And what I love about this show is we can share people that we're either working with or have experienced what they do and what their practice is personally. And Lauren and I have worked together with different psychic nights that we do here on the Jersey Shore, where we bring in Reiki practitioners. We bring in different type of spiritual readers, whether it's me doing mediumship or Lauren channeling, her messages through the cards that she does and everything. And it's a really cool thing that we can share these experiences that we have with our audience. And Lauren is a phenomenally fantastic soul. What I love about her is she incorporates many different practices into what she does. She utilizes different aspects of the cards. She channels her messages utilizing the cards. She does a lot of work with crystals. She does a lot of empowerment events, and where she's laying out crystal grids with different energy cycles, full moon cycles. So she has a whole gambit of practices that she utilizes and incorporates. And I just love being able to share her energy with everyone, kind of bring her on with us, and just, so she can explain what she does. But she is a phenomenally gifted soul. I think she is one of the bearers of light, in these times and what we're seeing going on in the world with a lot of the chaos and a lot of the disharmony. We need more light bearers. We need those that speak of the light, that bring that light into humanity. And Lauren is absolutely one of those people, so I can't wait to talk to her. I can't wait to get her on, and she can share what she does with our audience.
I have to tell you, it's perfect timing, because this whole week, my ESP, my sixth sense, is really kicking in. And it's come through with premonitions a few minutes before something happens, or actually it could be 30 seconds before. It happened to me. I'll just give you a little glimpse of it. I had this altercation in 2017 with my landlord's dog. And then I was traumatized. And a year later, I was walking down a street with my little baby dog, Elsa, and someone else's dog. And I then had an altercation with the dog that was wandering around, and it was growling, and I had to stand in place with our dogs for an hour before the police came. So I'm all okay. And then this past week, I went and walked this dog around the same block, and it was so strange. All of a sudden, I'm walking down the block, the street that this altercation had happened in 2018, and I had a flash of that interaction, that interaction with the two dogs, and then this stray dog. And then I look up, and a dog runs towards me. It was like a premonition of what was going to happen again. Oh, by the way, here we go. We have a comment right here. Thank you for saying it looks good. I appreciate that. And my point is that I knew it probably was about 30 seconds or 15 seconds before it was going to happen. And then last night, I had the same thing where I had a premonition. I even spoke about it to someone, and then it happened. So my ESP is really kicking in, as well as having some lucid dreams with sacred geometry, all different kinds of wheels turning. So I'm excited for Lauren to come here today. I will get into a little bit of an explanation about her, who she is, that I have, that she sent me. But before we do that, Michael, can you just tell me what your perception or ideas are about tarot, and I'll explain to everyone, for those who don't know about tarot cards. Do you work with tarot cards, Michael?
Yeah, no, I utilize mediumship completely when I'm doing my thing, but I've messed around with tarot cards. I've worked with tarot cards. It's not something that I incorporate into the practice that I do now, but they can be extremely powerful. And what I like that Lauren does is Lauren utilizes the tarot cards, and then she actually acts as like a divine channel, taking information that she's pulling from the tarot cards, and I believe she's also connecting, and she's utilizing both. So I believe like the tarot cards are more of a guide. And what we need to understand with tarot cards, there's all different types. We have our traditional tarot deck. There's angel card decks. There's many different aspects of card decks at this point. And what happens when a practitioner starts in their own meditations and their own personal practice, they're basically imprinting their energy onto the decks that they utilize. And that deck is almost like a psychic path that kind of opens and connects to their sitter. And I believe that the cards are like an intercessor that will pick up the energetic realm of the sitter, what the practitioner has imprinted on them, and then they kind of have their own language. But what makes it really special is when a practitioner is very intuitively, psychically tuned in and is like a channel. So it's slightly different than mediumship, where in mediumship I'm actually connecting to the loved ones in spirit. So through the cards, they could be pulling in messages from a loved one's spiritual connection, or getting a lot of insight to past, present, future possibilities around the sitter. And like with Lauren, she's not just utilizing the cards to give her the answers. She's actually, I believe, and she can explain it better to us when she jumps on, but she's utilizing those as kind of an open doorway to read some of the energy links that are going on between her and the sitter. And then she's channeling her own divine energies to go even farther and deeper into that deck, to bring insight and guidance to experiences that we've had in the past that may be causing certain aspects of us now to, if we're dealing with certain energy cycles, we can read the past, the present, and future possibilities to try to navigate those energy cycles in the best possible way. I mean, if we're looking at traditional tarot, and then, there's certain readers that will key in directly with the cards, and they have a great relationship with their card decks, and they know the energy that's not just what's written on the card, but they'll have a complete psychic intuitive feeling, and just a completely different aspect of blending their own divine channel with the divine channel of the cards. And it could be a really enlightening experience, especially when someone is trying to navigate a certain situation here in the current, and if they're having hangups or chaotic energy cycles that they can't seem to release. A lot of times when you're allowing their energy to imprint in the cards and you're reading it, the cards are giving you some guidance, and then that opens you up to your own divine channel. And I believe that's what Lauren's doing. She's not just utilizing only what the cards say. She's truly taking that beyond what the cards say. The cards are kind of opening and tuning in that energy, and then she's keying into that and utilizing her own intuitive abilities to read deeper into that, to give guidance, insight, whether it may be relationships, whether it's work related, whether it's whatever is going to be your divine guidance to help you navigate that current situation in the best possible way you can navigate through it. And that's what I say is we use that for anyone out there that's looking to kind of experience their own insight and guidance, and they feel like they can't meditate, or they're having a hard time trying to channel. The cards can be a good aspect to kind of blend your energy in with what's going on. You start to learn the different card decks, what those particular cards mean to you, and you can start to experience your own insight and guidance. So it could be a good way to start connecting to your own intuitive abilities, you know, and then you kind of build upon that, and that's where it starts. But I think it's a tool, you know, and it's a tool when used properly can bring lots of insight and guidance to not only the sitter but the practitioner utilizing them.
I've worked at psychic fairs like you have, and also, you know, basically, if you are at a party or even someplace, you know, if you're in a big city or at a fair, you can come across someone who has tarot cards, and there are different decks and different types of card decks. And we had someone a few weeks ago who created a card deck. And Lauren has also created a card deck, the Divine Design Human Body System deck. And it's about supporting intuitive medical readings. From my experience, I did take a workshop on tarot and I loved it. It's not something that I do. It's a whole other medium. And I'll give you a little background if anyone out there isn't familiar with tarot cards. So usually a tarot card is a 76 card system deck meant to tap into your intuition and give insight into the meaning of your personal journey. There's meanings that are given related to love, money, healing, teaching lessons, present, future, and distant possibilities. You know, you can ask a question. There's a sequence of order of cards, how you flip them, and what's gained. You know, a card will have characteristics that will actually add to the response. So there's the tarot card decks use 22, they say, major arcana cards, and they give life lessons, and 56 minor arcana cards for daily life. So here are the divided four suits, and I'm sure you all know of this. There's the wands, which is the elements of fire, creativity, ambition. The cups, element of water and emotions and relationships. The swords, the element of air, challenges, intellect, conflict. And the pentacles, or the coins, is the element of earth. So here are the elements of nature, right? Fire, water, air. And the element of earth is the coins and the pentacles, work, home, material. And then the major cards are the Fool, the Magician, the High Empress, the Emperor, the Lovers, the Chariot. And anyone who's seen tarot cards is familiar. You're always looking to see, what card did I get? And it's kind of exciting because you're actually seeing something, you know, that's tangible, that you can hold on to. I mean, when I give a reading, I'm speaking what I see, but here someone is seeing an actual card or representation. The Hangman, the Devil, the Tower, the stars, the moon, the sun. And so from my experience, I sense that you can utilize, like you use the word utilize as well, the tarot cards in a toolbox. A person that is an intuitive, a psychic, a medium can use the tarot card to find, I guess, metaphors, answers, images, and messages. Now, so here we go, Lauren, because we're going to bring her out. She's been waiting, and I'm excited to bring her out. And I know she has a big following because a lot of people like the post. So anyone out there, we would love, love, love for you to comment. Now we're getting our handle on doing this live streaming. You can make a comment. You can ask for a reading during this this episode if you want to get a reading from us, and we're going to take a moment. Please, everybody out there, write a comment. So Lauren, and I'm not good at last names, so I'm just going to say Lauren, is an intuitive healer, teacher, medical deck and tarot reader. She's a creator, a medical deck creator, a gifted channel for angels and ascended masters. There's a whole lot going on with her, and she's very intuitively connected on a lot of different levels. And there we go. She's a multidimensional intuitive guide and transformational healer who blends ancient wisdom with modern insight to empower clients on their spiritual journeys. She's a seasoned tarot reader. She integrates the cosmic rhythms of astrology, the depths of archetypal psychology, and the vibrational healing of crystal therapy, sound healing, and Reiki and Kundalini energy work. She's certified in crystal healing and sound therapy. Okay, so she is the creator of this deck, the Divine Design Human Body System. And I said to her, are you a medical intuitive? And I believe she is. Okay, so let's bring her out and she'll be much more able to
And
explain
the real cool thing is in one of our events,
yeah,
she had this handwritten, sketched out deck that, you know, she absolutely divinely channeled. And I was asking her, I was just drawn to that. I was drawn to the energy of that. And what did she have here, you know, in this paper written deck? And it was the start of her medical deck. And she was still, I think, really fine tuning it and was working with it to see what type of results she could pull from that deck. And I was so drawn to the energy. I told her, you have to do that. You have to get this deck out there because it's going to be so beneficial to many people. And that's the beautiful thing about someone that's utilizing the cards as a tool, and then from that tool can start to create their own thing from that. And that's what Lauren did. And I think this deck is going to bring healing and insight and guidance to many, many people. So I'm so glad that, you know, she's bringing this to fruition. She's bringing this deck to life, and she's allowing it to help and heal many people.
Okay, so everyone, now here's an opportunity because I'm not going to be talking very much after this. Please write comments and ask for a reading, and we will all tune in and see what we receive. And as usual, I'll write down and then I'll show it to you. Okay.
And you'll have to share it with us, Mary Amy, because I'm doing this on my phone right now while I'm in the process of redoing my studio for podcasts and all that. So I'm on my phone, and I think Lauren's also I think she's on vacation too and calling in from her vacation. So we'll ask her a little bit about that, but you're going to have to relay the questions to us.
Okay, I'll relay the questions and whatever comes up. And so we're speaking about phones. I have a broken phone. So the only way anyone can reach me is through Facebook chat. If you want to call
us now.
All right, everybody. So here she is. Here's Lauren. Hi.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Great.
What's up, Lauren? How are you? Pleasure to see you.
I'm doing well.
Being here with two psychics.
Thanks for having me.
So where are you dialing in from? Where are you? You're on vacation right now or what?
Yeah. So it's really funny because I am literally dialing in from where my spiritual journey with cards even started. I'm right now, my family, I was born in Philadelphia, and in Philadelphia, their Jersey Shore is Wildwood and Cape May. So I'm currently in Wildwood in my family's home. And this is where I used to summer. It's like 100-year-old house. We used to summer here my whole childhood. And so I'm down here with family, all my cousins, all my family has houses right on the same street. And so it's a really special place because a lot of my family, even though I live at the Jersey Shore by us in Ocean County, my family's still in Pennsylvania. So this is kind of where we all meet in the summer and spend really important quality time together. But I was listening to what you guys were describing with the cards and everything. And this is where it all started because my Aunt Annie, she used to read cards. She used to read a regular deck of playing cards. And so she brought so much magic into our childhood with giving our family readings. She was amazing. And she would use the cards for predictive purposes, especially when we were teenagers. She would predict the boys that we would meet and like all the fun stuff when you're a kid and what you care about with love and relationships. And I would bring my friends down here with me, and my friends would get readings from Aunt Annie. So this is actually like where it all started and what even made me buy my first deck of cards and decide to learn tarot was Aunt Annie.
How cool is that? It's like full circle, right?
100%. Yeah. Yeah. So it like runs in the family. So
I'm curious, how old were you when you started reading?
I guess I was probably about 33. So my son was already born, and my spiritual journey had, I'm a very spiritual person. I was raised Catholic, come from an Italian Catholic family. And later in my teen years, I was really searching for, the Catholic religion did not resonate with me the way that I was searching for spiritually. And that kind of put me on a path of trying out different versions of Christianity and what really fit me. And nothing actually really ever fit. And so throughout my 20s, I would say, I would read a lot of books. I started following the teachings of Brian Weiss. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him.
Yes, very familiar.
Michael
Yeah.
Newton. So I started reading those books on, like, you know, past lives, and that resonated as truth with me, even though it deviated from what I had grown up learning. And that just kind of led me on a path. I started to learn from Carolyn Mace, who's one of my absolute most favorite spiritual teachers. And by the time I was probably 33, I decided to buy a tarot deck just out of curiosity, because I thought, well, and Annie read playing cards, and she was 1000% just intuitively reading. So she would use the cards, but what came through was not connected to those cards, really. She just was giving readings, you know, the cards, I think, you know, just like you were saying a little while ago, the cards open up a pathway. Now, at this point in my skill level, I could read a regular deck of playing cards. I could probably read anything, any tool, anything actually I could probably use as an intuitive channel, because I think it just simply opens up the part of your brain that is receptive to the higher consciousness messages that come through. But I picked up the tarot deck out of curiosity, and I decided to just learn it for myself. I just wanted to know, like, what if this is what other people had been using while Aunt Annie was reading those regular cards? What is this system? I was just very curious about it. And that was it. Once I started to learn it, I fell in love with it. And I started reading for my friends and my family. And then eventually I started giving free readings at fairs just to try it out with strangers, because I was terrified of reading for people that I didn't know. And that was it. I got fantastic feedback. And then that just opened up where I'm at now. I mean, where I started to where I am now with my Soul Strength business, I would have never predicted that this would be a part of my life the way that it is. And it's just so fun. I love it.
And it's funny. The one thing that we always speak about here on the Two Psychics podcast is when your soul is calling you to do something, when your soul is aligning with something more, it's always going to pull you back into that until you align with it. And I feel like that's part of your journey. You know, it was kind of opening and tuning in and aligning that. What I'm really curious about, what were the dynamics like as a child with having, you know, an aunt or having a relative that's doing, you know, the reading and the channeling, and then mixed in with the Catholic lineage. And you know my background, having, you know, half my family Hungarian Romney gypsies, and my grandmother would read the tea leaves, and you know, she was very big into palm reading and all that. And then the other side being devout Catholic, but you know, being aligned with the saints and Jesus and all the mystical aspects of the Holy Spirit. What was that like in your family?
We loved it. I mean, especially the kids. The adults would be a little bit more nervous about it because Aunt Annie was so accurate. I mean, she would predict potential injuries, illnesses. Yeah. And so it was almost, the adults got a little freaked out by it. But honestly, the funny part about my family is all the women in my family, you know, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Maloics. That's an Italian energy reset, essentially, when somebody is projecting negative energy onto you and you could feel it. You could feel it in your auric field. You know, we'll say like somebody put the evil eye on you. You hear it as the evil eye. You hear it as somebody put a whammy on you. So I grew up being trained to read energy from the women in my family, but I don't even think they realized really what they were doing, because they were totally attuned to energy work, and in fact would do the Italian Maloics prayer. My grandmother would stand at the kitchen sink. If I'd say, Gram, somebody put an overlook on me, I could feel it. The day wasn't going well. You could just feel your energy. You could feel that somebody had attached themselves to you. She would stand over the kitchen sink and do her Italian prayer with the oil and the water, which then can only be passed on to generations of females in the family on Christmas Eve, which is what we did. So now I know how to do it, and my mom and my aunt. So the women, the family was devoutly Catholic, but also absolutely hidden witches, because they were using energy and just kind of kept it quiet. And it's just something we did in the family and was normal. So yeah, a little bit of duality there.
That's so cool. And it's funny how when we're divinely connected like that, or our family lineage is divinely connected, it almost supersedes any type of organized religion because it's so accurate and there's so much information coming through. Like what you're speaking about reminds me so much of my own grandmother and how everything she had predicted and prophesized all came to be. And it would be the same thing on either Christmas Eve or Christmas Day when I would see her. That's when she would pull out, that's when she would do the tea leaf readings, or that's when she would be like, Michael, let me see your palm. And she would start to read my palm. And it was amazing how accurate it was. And I think that's the thing, when you're seeing it being done in such an authentic way, there's no way to dispute it because you're like, all right, it's happening. There is something to this.
Yeah.
And
I just took it as normal.
Yeah.
I didn't question it.
And that's the beautiful thing, is your family wasn't like, this is crazy, we have to stop this. And they kind of embraced it. And I think that's what really empowers us, is from a young age, when we could stay tuned in and we can grow and learn with that, that makes us really powerful healers and readers, and that's absolutely something that happened on your journey.
Yeah.
That's great, because I didn't know that about your family history and about, and about the readings and everything. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people tuning into this episode of Two Psychics are very curious about, the tarot cards, or, how can I start using them, or how could I utilize them in my own life? What would be some of your suggestions of someone that's curious but not really sure of how to approach it? Would you recommend just a regular deck, or would you recommend just picking up a deck that resonates with them? Or what would be your approach talking to someone that is curious?
My whole goal at all times, whether it's in my regular job as a teacher or working with spiritual clients, is trust yourself. Understand that our soul will lead us where we're meant to be. So if you are somebody who has been curious about tarot and oracle, go and just look at the decks out there. First of all, there's really great decks that were not around when I was learning that are actually the traditional Rider-Waite tarot, which is the most standard and popular version of tarot, that actually will have the key words and the key meanings on every card. But if you don't get that type of a deck where it gives you all that information on the card, every deck comes with a book, and there are thousands of books out there on tarot that you can get, and start just by pulling a card. I actually have a really fat notebook from when I first started, where I would pull one card and I would read different books of what the interpretation of the card was. I would look up online. There's a really great girl in Australia. Her name is her business name is Biddy Tarot. And she gives fantastic explanations of every card on her website with all different interpretations. And I would journal and I would take notes. I would doodle. I'm a person, when I learn, I have to write. So I would keep a journal of what those cards meant. And then start to trust yourself when you're looking at imagery on cards. There are meanings ascribed to the tarot deck. However, I do not 100% go by what the meanings are of the deck, because tarot, like you said, it is an opening of a path. It is an opening of the intuitive channel. So when you're looking at any deck, whether it's tarot or oracle, you want to be looking at the imagery that's on there, the way that the message is portrayed, the colors, the symbols, the numbers, the astrological correspondence. There's so much that you can get from one card. And the most important thing that when you're looking at it is, how does it connect to your life? Where is it resonating with you in the current moment? I don't use tarot as a predictive tool. I am not telling people what's happening, because we have free will. We can constantly change based on our choices what is coming up for us. We can be on a trajectory in a certain moment always, but the power to me lies in the understanding of, here is where you're at, where do you want to go, and therefore what is the most empowered way forward. So for me at this point, the tarot is a conversational back and forth. I truly have a conversation with my guides. I will ask questions out loud or in my head and heart, and I will pull the cards as the answer. And I will continue that. And it's a dialogue. It is a constant back and forth between myself and my angels and my higher self. That's how I find them to be the most useful. It's also how I channel loved ones in spirit. It's how I channel pets. I mean, you can connect to any soul if you set that intention and you open up that safe space to invite anyone in. When I'm working with clients, we're inviting in their higher self and their guides. And we go back and forth in that dialogue of, what does this person need to know right now? What do they need to see? See, it's all about perspective. as souls, we're having this human experience, but we've come in with a soul plan. We've come in with a mission to accomplish. And within that mission, there are lessons that we have to learn, and that's where our growth lies. So our challenges are always going to be the directional signals of where is the soul growth opportunity right now for us. Where does our power lie? What are the strengths that we can be applying? What are the strengths and skills that are going to be revealed from this? And how best can we make our decisions moving forward in the most empowered, sovereign state? I think one of the most important things for me is that these, working with the cards and working with clients, this is always about connecting people to the understanding that they don't need me and they don't even need the cards. The cards are awesome. I love the cards. The cards have opened up my own intuitive abilities tremendously. So I love them. I have hundreds and hundreds of decks. I collect them. But ultimately, we're always being guided by our soul. And so I think the cards are a beautiful tool of validation of the choices that we're making, the paths that we're on. I mean, so many of the times I give readings, people are like, this makes so much sense. And it makes them feel like they can trust themselves more because they realize, okay, like I am where I'm supposed to be and I didn't veer off track and I'm not making mistakes. And the mistakes that I'm perceiving are sources of growth and opportunity for empowerment. So that's always my goal, is to help people understand that this is just a tool. This is not, the cards don't have the answers. The cards don't have any special energy. It's the way that we open our hearts and the way that we open up our energy field to let the cards serve a purpose for us. It's our higher self making a choice to engage with this tool in particular. Does that make sense?
Oh, it does. I think that's a fabulous explanation. And I think anyone out there that's on this self-exploration journey and trying to tune into their intuitive energetic self, that divine channel that they are. I think Lauren explained it perfectly. It's a tool, and it's a tool to help us tap into our own intuitive guidance. It's not that we put everything and all our trust into those cards. We're utilizing those cards as a tool, and that's phenomenal. I can see Mary. I can see the wheels are turning over there with Mary. I know she's got some questions brewing. So.
Okay, so for when we first spoke, I spoke to you on the phone, and I commented on your voice because it was a very pleasant voice and I liked your voice. And when you started speaking today, automatically I saw these waves, and then I saw the shark leaping up over the waves and diving back in. And then I saw you as a little girl in a circle doing Ring Around the Rosie. So it was whole, it was a whole circle. It's related to nature. About the cards, do you have the cards with you on your vacay that you can show some of your cards and maybe we can ask a question?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have a few different decks with me. I have a really beautiful tarot deck here. It is based off of the Rider-Waite imagery, but it is its own variation that I just absolutely love. And then I have a little mini deck with me that I carry everywhere. It's like a little pocket deck. And then I have a couple different oracle cards decks with me as well. So yeah.
I love it. I love it. So can you right now, if we ask a question, or I wish there was somebody out there who's watching.
I know I could see some comments popping up of people that are watching, but I'm on my phone, so I couldn't really key into what they were.
Oh yeah, it says, looks great, gotta jump, good luck. That's what we got. So okay, I'll just ask you something, and then I don't know if it's something related to what we're doing, but you channel angels and ascended masters. Is that through cards, or is that something else?
It can be through the cards for sure. It really depends. So when I work with the angels and ascended masters, I actually have card decks that are connected to different angels, different ascended masters. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Sophia Code, but the Sophia Dragon Tribe is a group of the divine feminine ascended masters. And that is a text. That's a living transmission. It's a holy text. And that's been transmitted. What's the right word? It's been downloaded with Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, Green Tara, who else? Kuan Yin, White Buffalo Woman, and the Sophia dragons. Okay. So that is a text that I've studied in depth for probably well over 10 years at this point. And so I've studied the teachings of many ascended masters. The goddess Isis, she's actually one of my most prominent guides. I work with the goddess Isis. I've worked with her for many years. She's an incredible, powerful, transformational guide. So there will be times when I feel the presence of specific ascended masters that I work closely also with Archangel Metatron. I'll feel that they have something to give because each ascended master operates at a different frequency, a different vibration, different levels of consciousness. So they can support us as humans in different capacities and different situations. I actually have, I purchased last night a green fluorite buffalo. It's the first buffalo carving I've ever seen, and it caught my eye. And immediately I thought, okay, white buffalo woman is coming through, because I just saw this on a shelf at a shop, and I was like, oh my God, I have to have that. That's just so beautiful. She brings the connection to nature. Okay. She brings the connection to cycles. So when it comes to working with the ascended masters, it really depends on the person. It depends on what's going on. I'll feel the presence. I'll know intuitively who wants to speak. Sometimes I'll use the specific cards that go potentially, like I do have like a Kuan Yin deck and an Isis deck. And but a lot of times it's just knowing their presence and understanding. I guess I feel their energy and I can feel them in different ways. I can feel their frequency differences. So I'll know when they're coming in to give insight and important teachings. So it really depends on the person and the reading and the time. And for myself, I'll choose, like the fact that white buffalo woman showed up to me, I know that she has some work that she wants to do. So I'll actually tune into her later on today when I get home. I'll probably open up. Like I said, I'm a reader. I'm a very cerebral person. I have Mercury rulership. I'm a Virgo moon. So to me, like I love to learn and to read. And so I think at this point where I'm at skill wise is because of all of the years of reading, and working with these different energies and really just kind of integrating them into just the way that I look at the world, the way that I have a larger understanding of the higher perspective of what we do here as humans, rather than being kind of stuck in the mundane aspects of everyday life, rising above and seeing the bigger picture. That is what the Ascended Masters are here for. That is what they want to teach us, is to see from a higher perspective, more like a bird's eye view of what is happening in the world, what is happening in your own life, what are the themes that you want to recognize, what are the patterns, what is the symbolism. That is, I think, so much of what they want to help us with is understanding that, yes, being human is hard, but you're doing bigger work than just making a paycheck and paying your bills and trying to navigate relationships. There's so much more to our existence. And that's what the Ascended Masters and the angels want to support us with.
I love it. Okay. We had a comment, Christine Malkman. And she said, Lauren is absolutely incredible. I'm constantly learning from her. Her unique intuitive gifts and abilities are so needed in this world. Hello, Christine. Please write a question so we can ask the deck.
Yes, if you're listening
thank
live.
You, Christine. I got to tell you guys, that's my sister.
Well, Christine, ask the question.
She's biased.
If we have someone out there listening, put a question in the comments and we'll have Lauren give you a card read on it.
Okay, so before someone comes through with that, because I'm learning myself, because I'm clairvoyant, and I'm deciphering frequencies. And Michael and I speak about this because different entities, different what do you want to call it? Different beings, species, spirit, whether it's angelic, divine. All of these do have different frequencies.
Yeah.
Do you have like a premonition or knowing before it happens? In other words, are they kind of tapping your clairvoyance to say, I'm coming through? Or when you say a frequency, you just sense it? What's the frequency?
Yeah, I think I'm clairsentient, right? Because I think I just feel and know things without necessarily having a solid, tangible reason behind it. When I'm working with a client, I will feel what they need and, empathically just understanding where they're at. So I think I have a very strong emotional radar. I'm able to connect with people. And once I'm working within their field, I can feel the imprints of what they've been through, what they've gone through, traumas, experiences. I can sense where their limits are in their own self-perception. I don't have to use cards. A lot of times people will come to me to just talk about something or ask a question, and I will be able to just channel whatever I know that they need to hear, because my radar is picking up what is needed on a soul level. Where are the limits? Where are the distortions in the field? Where's the distortion in their own self-perception? Where has their power been taken from them? Where are they not? And where is their lack of awareness? So I think when it comes to tuning in, I am attuned to the angelic frequencies. I'm a certified angel healer, but to me, I think what that really means is simply developing a further sensitivity to understanding when those angelic frequencies are needed. And not everybody, it really depends on the individual where they're at. So when I pull in, when I know who wants to work with them, I'm either going to tell them directly who's coming through, or I'm going to make a recommendation of, I'd like you to Google this, the name of this angel or the name of this ascended master, because this is a being, that carries a teaching that wants to be activated within you. And I'll open that up. I'll start that teaching. I'll explain to them, what is coming through that they need, and then how they can further that for themselves so that they can open up that pathway and understand that we have all of this angelic support and all of this, the support from other beings that want to just make our life a little bit easier and especially understand how powerful we are. I look at it as these are teammates that come in at different times for different purposes that are just contributing to help us remember who we are and the mission that we're on, and the, where we feel weak, they want to help us regain our power, because we are in charge. We are the captain of the ship. We are the captain of our life. So I always help to make sure that people understand that there is no being that can help and support them that is higher than they are, that has more say in their life and how this goes than they do. So it's really connecting them to this, I think, understanding of just this bigger picture of this existence of when we incarnate, what that actually really means, so that they can then connect with their power again.
As a conduit, and you're empowering your clients, how do you know which deck? Because I know you have this medical deck that you created. How do you know which deck for each client? Are you receiving, like, you're more drawn intuitively, okay, this deck, or do you give them a choice, or it doesn't matter because the same message will come through?
Yeah. So if I'm like doing an event somewhere, if somebody is in my home with me, a lot of my readings that are personal, I do online on Zoom. So I'm choosing the decks. But especially when we're in person, I'll say, pick any deck, colors, title, imagery, whatever you're drawn to, go ahead and, make your selection, because they're going to know what they need. They're going to know what decks want to speak to them. Even if they don't consciously know, subconsciously, they're going to be attracted to the messages that come through, because with, especially oracle decks, they have their own personality. The authors that create these are using themes. I have, an oracle deck here in front of me that's a sacred forest deck. So it's using plants and animals here. I have an animal oracle deck that's specifically themed for animals. So there's so many different decks out there that are going to give you great insight, but through different themes. So I always want people to participate in what they're getting with me, because to me, that's the most powerful. And otherwise, I'm choosing based on what I feel like, right? So I'll look at a deck and be like, yep, that deck wants to talk today. This deck has something to say. There's something that where my eye will catch it. And I'm looking at, I have multiple shelves of a bookcase of hundreds of decks. And I'll just know if my eyes land on something and something jumps out at me in any given moment, that deck has something that it wants to say. And then, of course, I have like some of my favorites. But then I also do things silly. See, I also like to teach people, don't make it so serious, right? Like if I'm giving a reading to somebody that has a lot of tattoos and appreciates tattoos, I have a tarot deck that is designed by a tattoo artist. So I'll match decks with energy, and it's, no matter what you choose, though, you're always going to get the messages that you need. So I always say, like, have fun with it. I let people touch the decks. That is not a rule where you can't touch my decks. I'm like, pick it up, hold it in your hand, do whatever you want. You want to shuffle? Do you want to fan them out? Do you want to pull randomly? Sometimes I'll say, pick a number 1 through 10, and I'll count the cards and pull that number. You can have so much fun and be creative with working with your guides and having conversations with your guides that, you know, it doesn't need to be serious and tight and stressful. It's as reverent as it is, it's also it make it your unique style. And I tend to be pretty playful in the way that I do things. So I think a lot of times my readings can be playful as well. Even though I am pretty serious in what comes through, I try to keep it relaxed in the methodology.
One thing that comes to me, Lauren, when you speak about how you're choosing the deck, if you're doing a live event, I think you may even be intuitively drawn to a certain deck that the person that's going to be sitting with you later, you know, on a guide level, maybe showing you, hey, they need something out of this deck. You know, we're drawing you to this deck because that sitter that's going to be with you in a few hours needs to hear some specific piece of information or needs you to channel it in a certain way from that deck. Now, I want to talk a little bit about your intuitive deck. Now, I know on vacation, you already messaged me. I know you don't have that deck with you, and I know you're in the final production of that deck creation. But I know you've been using it for a while, and I know you've been using it at several of the events that we've done. Can you share a little bit with us of like what was behind you creating that deck and what brought it to fruition of you creating it? Or anyone jumping on that wants to ask Lauren a question with the cards, or if not, Lauren, do you want to do
no questions yet. You ask a question. I just had people saying they're there.
So Lauren, let me ask you this. Can you do a general card pull for humanity, or here in the States? You know, obviously we're seeing a lot of disharmony or chaotic energy, people feeling disconnected. Can you do a general pull for humanity, you know, for us here specifically in the States?
For whoever ends up listening to this podcast.
Exactly. Anyone that's listening in, tuning in, you know, what kind of guidance and insight can you share with us?
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So Spirit, what message do you have for the greater good, for the collective? What do you want to talk about today? How do we heal? I know yesterday we had this tragic shooting that happened in the Catholic school, and I really, my entire day, that just broke my heart into a million pieces. And I struggled all day energetically with feeling very pessimistic about the world and about humanity and the way that humans act and treat each other, and the division that we see and the blame that we see, and, you know, all of the things can really get us down. I don't know if anybody else was feeling that, but I was feeling it really strongly yesterday. And I actually had to reset my energy. I had to do some breath work and release because I just felt an overwhelming sense of sadness and discouragement that anybody, for all the suffering that goes on.
Yeah. And that makes it even more important for those of you out there, like Mary Amy, like Lauren, like myself, that want to try to be that beacon of light, bring that good divine energy into the world. It's so important to tap into that and truly allow that divine guidance to flow through you, because we're the light bringers, you know, and we can bring light to the darkness. And the more people that step up and embrace that, and even, you know, most people I think feel like they can't make a difference, but it's even in those small little increments, those small little steps, those small little pieces of light that we can bring into our family, our friends, into that daily moment. You know, we can absolutely shift the energy on this planet.
Well, it's funny because literally what you're saying just came out in the 3 cards that I pulled.
Oh, there we go.
There's the validation. So the first card out is the 9 of Pentacles. And what's interesting is all 3 cards are Pentacles. Now, I have shuffled this a billion times. So, you know, I always trust what comes out. 9 of Pentacles. Pentacles has us working with earth-based material goods. It's a very earth-based 3D energy. When we're looking at the deck of tarot and we look at the different suits, Pentacles is everyday life. Pentacles are the choices that we're making, the actions that we're taking, and our decisions. And 9 of Pentacles says, worry about yourself and don't lose hope. 9 of Pentacles is really a card of abundance and success. So given this question, this is Spirit's way of saying, all is well, all is as it should be. Worry about yourself and stay in your lane. put the work in. We have that followed by the 8 of Pentacles. And the 8 of Pentacles says you are on a journey of self-mastery. Your work lies in your focus and your determination, followed by the 6 of Pentacles, which would be give and take. It's a balancing card. And what's important about the 6 of Pentacles is, how are we serving others? How are we showing up? How is our energy supporting others? How are we giving love? How are we opening up to receive? It's the exchange of energy. So what Spirit is saying is that all we have to worry about right now is following our own soul's path in terms of being the highest version of ourselves that we can. Not fearing, because 9 of Pentacles does not fear lack. It doesn't fear scarcity. It doesn't, it's an incredibly abundant energy. Okay. So Spirit is saying, while we might see things that bring us down, and we might see things in the reality that can make, like I felt yesterday, so discouraged, Spirit's saying, no, that's not the truth. Don't worry. All is as it should be. And what you want to do is cultivate your own abundance, cultivate your own expansion. Well, how do we do that? We follow our soul's path. We stay focused on what we know is right for us. Okay. And here they're saying acts of service. So how are we called to serve? How are we called to show up for each other? Is it in our humor? Is it in our spiritual healing? Is it in the way that we teach? Is it in the way that we show up to our job every day and just bring an energy into the room that lifts spirits? Maybe we're good listeners. We're really great friends. Maybe we're really great nurturers. What do we give? We're all giving to each other. We're not meant to do this life alone. There is something that we bring into every room that we walk into. We are bringing something into every relationship that we have. So Spirit is saying, stay focused on that and do that to the best of your ability. Be you to the best of your ability, and all else will grow and the energy will reset. So let's get a little bit more on that. So Spirit, show us, what is this 8 of Pentacles? Show us where the lessons are. 8 of Pentacles is learning. It's a student mindset, but it's also a higher learning. If I was to think of it as a metaphor, it would be like college level learning, because it's not newbies. It's not a beginning. 8 of Pentacles is, you have been learning something for a while, and now you're about to take the final exams to get the degree or the certification. You know what you're doing. You're in school and you need to stay at it. So they're giving us the 3 of Cups in reverse. 3 of Cups is a card of connection and friendship, but sometimes the 3 of Cups in reverse can show that there's distractions in our life. This is important because sometimes other people give us their opinions, and their thoughts, their projections can distort ours, can mess up our field, the energetic imprints that other people give us, the distractions from what's important to us. So Spirit is saying, try not to listen to other people, most especially if what people are sharing, like let's say you go on social media and you're seeing a lot of negative posting. Like yesterday, there was a lot of negative posts. So many people were upset, and they were doing the whole blame game and the judgment. And that's not helpful. It isn't going to shift the energy in the direction that we want it to go. We need a healing energy. So be careful, everyone who's listening to this, with who you are surrounding yourself with, what you are listening to, who you are listening to. Have healthy boundaries. And, to me, healthy boundaries comes in the form of how I spend my time. I am not somebody who, I wake up every morning, while I get ready, I'm listening to spiritual teachings. I'm listening to audiobooks, podcasts, YouTubers that I trust. I source what I listen to very carefully in a way that supports my own soul, not the human. I don't try to check out. I feed my soul every morning. I call it my morning soul food. And then even I'm not a TV watcher. So at night I'm reading, I'm working, I'm doing my spiritual work. I am very careful with what I take in. I also tend to be a bit of a loner in terms of I'm a sociable, friendly person, and I do have a lot of friends, but I also actually kind of keep my energy to myself. I don't say yes to every invitation. I follow my own needs internally with no apologies, because I know how important it is to cultivate healthy boundaries energetically and spiritually. So Spirit is saying we all need to be aware of that. We all need to be aware of the environments we're putting ourselves in and what we're hearing and taking in, because we want to stay focused on what we're creating. Now we're getting the Queen of Pentacles. So notice that here, This is all about creation. All of these, 4 out of 5 cards that I pulled now just were pentacles. So Spirit is saying we have to cultivate the energy that we wish to see and experience in our life and in this world. Queen of Pentacles is a divine mother energy. She is a nurturer. She's a creator. As much as she's an earth-based energy, to me, Queen of Pentacles is also a fire energy. She is passionate about what she wants to create. She is methodical. She is logical. So I think that I'm going to leave the final message on this reading with: take some honest inventory of your life, how you spend your time, who you surround yourself with. Are you feeding your soul? Are you amplifying the good that you want to create? Or are you allowing yourself to be distracted? Are you allowing yourself to be thrown off course by other people or the ways that you are pulled? Because 3 of Cups in reverse, to me, are energetic pulls on our field. They are people that are potentially energetic vampires. They are people who are sucking our life force out. Maybe they're very needy friends, they're family, they're people in our circle that don't realize the effect that they have on us. And we need to be honest with ourselves about how do we protect our energy so that we could stay focused on what we're creating. So Spirit says, don't get distracted by the sad parts of the world, by the sad things that go on right now, because your job here is to counter that energy with your light and with your creative energy. So that leads me to say to anyone else, please honor what you are drawn to. Honor what you feel the urge to create. Michael, when he saw my medical deck, which to me, it was strictly for my own use, when he saw what I had made and urged me, like, you need to make this, you need to get this published, like, this could help people. You're the reason why I'm pursuing it, Michael, because you kind of gave me that push of trust yourself, trust your creations, and allow yourself to honor what you need to create. We have to be creative beings. And I think that you actually made a video about this yesterday, Michael, from the studio that you were giving readings in, about creative energy. Creative energy is healing, and it will always be born. So much of our creative energy will be born from problems that we have to solve, right? So be creative and stay focused.
No, that's fantastic. I love that insight and guidance. And anyone out there, you could see how Lauren uses the cards. She's utilizing her own intuitive abilities, and she's pulling that information through and just using the card deck as a tool. And that's what I would suggest to anybody out there that's searching for their own intuitive path or trying to tune into their own intuitive guidance. Maybe you can pick up a deck of cards that resonates with you. What do you feel your soul is calling you to? But then again, like we're speaking about your creative endeavors, if you're an artist, and you're not painting right now, or you're a musician, or you write poetry, whatever that may be, reconnect to that creative endeavor, because that creative endeavor is truly one of your divine channels. And if you speak to any artist, musician, or any creative mind, they're going to tell you when they get into that creative flow state, that's truly where the special stuff happens. And Lauren, you're gonna do a lot of big things with that deck. I think that deck is I think it's gonna get massive. I really do. I think the energy behind it, I was so drawn into it, and that's why I couldn't believe that you weren't, at that point thinking that there are really large things in store for this deck. I truly believe you're divinely guided to create that deck and to allow that deck to help a lot of souls. A lot of souls that are trying to navigate the medical system and maybe feel lost, or someone that's just trying to tune into their own body, and what they're dealing with. I think it's going to help a lot of people, and it's fantastic.
Hope so.
Now, anyone out there, if you're here on the Jersey Shore, or you're in New Jersey, or around any of the surrounding states, and you want to kind of see what Lauren and I do, we're going to be doing a psychic event, a psychic night here on the Jersey Shore. I believe it's September 25th. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think it might be the 24th.
Or the 24th. Okay, the 20. But it's at the Captain's Inn, and that's in Forked River, New Jersey. And Lauren and I would love for you to come out to that event and kind of see what we do, and you get to experience some phenomenal Reiki practitioners. Feel a little bit of that Reiki energy healing. You can get some insight and guidance from different intuitive practitioners like Lauren and myself. And if you jump on to any of our social media, Lauren's social media, which we'll share with you in a few minutes, or my I Have the Spirits with Michael Ledley on Facebook, or any of the Two Psychics podcasts, we'll share those links with you, so you can kind of experience in person what we do, because I think there's a lot of people after listening to this podcast are gonna want to experience it firsthand, or and if you're interested in getting a reading with Lauren, we'll have all her social media and everything provided on in the highlights of this, and on our wherever we post it on Facebook. Excuse me, I just started drinking my coffee now. I think I got a little stuck in my throat there. But yeah, anyone that's around September 24th at the Captain's Inn, we will be doing our psychic night. We'd love to see you there, and we will have any of the information in our social media. Now, Lauren, anyone out there that wants to have a private reading with you, wants to learn about the cards that you're doing, or any of your healing workshops or classes that you teach, where's the best place for them to find you?
So I have a website that you can book readings through, soulstrengthtarot.com. And then follow me on Facebook. I have a group called Soul Strength. I do most of my events are posted through Instagram, Soul Strength Tarot, or Facebook, Soul Strength. And that's probably where you're going to find most of my events. So I do once a month, I do a healing circle at Pink Moon Yoga and Wellness in Silverton, New Jersey, in Toms River. That my next healing circle is on Sunday, September 14th. It is an hour and a half once a month where we focus on different healings. We're going to be actually working with the energy of the eclipses this month in September, because we do have 2 eclipses. I also study astrology, and I incorporate different types of astrology into all the work that I do and all of the readings, because astrology is an inherent part of tarot and just, to me, our soul's coding. So it's another lens that we look through. So if you're interested in an in-person workshop, September 14th at Pink Moon Yoga and Wellness, like Michael said, September 24th at Captain's Inn for readings, and then you can visit soulstrengthtarot.com to check out all the different types of readings that I offer.
Okay, so we did get a comment. It was from Teresa. The medical deck is needed. I agree. Still not a question, but I just want to expand on what I received about you. So first I saw these huge waves, the shark leaping out, and then I saw this ring around the rosy, which is a circle full, which is that's you mentioned spiritual over and over, a whole. I did receive something related to dolphins, connection to dolphins. You're operating on a very high frequency, and I collected that when I first heard your voice. And your voice, you are a major channel on deep levels. I also saw a Rubik's Cube, because you see things all different sides, and you're operating on a lot of different levels. You speak really rapidly because you're receiving so much in your brain. I received you're very sincere, caring, intuitive. Every day is a marathon for you. Every day you wake up, you're running a marathon, and you're a past life warrior. Okay, now regarding the deck, what I sensed is, and it clicked in when Teresa wrote this comment, that I sense that there's going to be doctors that take on these decks, your deck, and they're going to be more using their intuitive, like you said, their intuition. They're going to use this deck in their practice. So definitely complete the deck. You said 2026. Yep. I saw your bio. I believe in you, and I believe is important. Now I know that this subject, on
Lauren's Facebook page, Mary Amy's Facebook page, the 2 psychics. So wherever we can put it, we hope that you can tune into all of this. And yeah, I agree with Mary Amy. I think the medical deck is really special, and I think you're gonna absolutely touch the lives of many people with that deck. There's a lot of energetic power behind that. So I can't wait to see the finished copy. I can't wait to see that, and it's going to be phenomenal. Thank you. Anyone out there, again, that wants to check out Lauren Komanitsky's and any of her social media, we will have that all listed in all the notes of any place we're putting this video and this podcast. You will definitely be able to check out Lauren's stuff. I can't wait to see you again on the 24th. It's always a fun time when we're working together. It's always an interesting evening. But I can't wait. I'm thinking we're gonna have you back at some point. We don't want to keep you much longer because we know you're on vacation and your family's gonna be knocking down the door. Come on, this isn't work. This isn't work right now. But I really appreciate you being here with us. You are a beautifully enlightened soul. You share
Yeah.
your positive energy with everyone and anyone that knows you. And we're so glad you joined us here on Two Psychics podcast. And it's been
Thank
a
you guys so
phenomenal
much for having
episode.
me. You're both wonderful. And Mary, thank you so much for those messages. They totally resonate. And yeah, the beach and the the sharks and the dolphins, it's funny. I have a shark. I don't know if you can see it. Our light switch in this room happens to be a shark. This is like where the kids sleep. This is like the kids' room. But thank you so much. I appreciate both of you. You're both beautiful healers. So thanks for having me.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much
And
for being
maybe I'll
part of
meet
Two
you in
Psychics
person.
podcast.
Yeah, I would love that.
Person, I got that right before you started speaking. So I'm going to meet you at some point in person.
I hope so. That would be wonderful.
Yeah. Thank
That's
you so
going to
much.
be one of the large events that we're all doing here on the Jersey Shore that Lauren's going to be a part of.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
Okay,
Absolutely.
perfect.
No, thank you so much for being here with Two Psychics podcast, Lauren. We really, really appreciate your insight in the discussions that we've had today.
Thanks so much, guys. Great to be here.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Take care, Lauren.
That was so interesting. You know, I haven't done, I took that workshop, and the fact that she has all these decks, I find that fascinating. And they all are for different, I guess, readings or information. And it's a whole technique. It's a whole education to know that. I have no clue, but she I would love to get a reading from her, because she's like, her mind's like this, and she's looking it all, and she's figuring it all out.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, you know, and I think when Spirit's imprinting the information on you, it's, you know, you're kind of all over the place. I find that same thing occurs to me in a reading. That's why I tell people it's, you know, I may appear like I have ADD, but I have to capture and bring the information through as it's coming to me. And I think that's what happens, you know, just like Lauren's channeling that, it starts firing on many different levels, and you have to bring that information and that guidance through quickly. But that's when you know the special stuff is happening. That's when you know the insight and the guidance and that divine channel is open, you know, and I say the volume knob's on 10, and yeah, it's a beautiful thing to see when it's occurring, you know, and so much information and knowledge, wisdom and guidance can come from that. And that's the important thing. Anyone out there that's trying to find their own channel, you know, they're trying to connect to their own intuitive abilities. You know, if you're feeling disconnected, you know, a tool like a card deck might be the perfect opportunity for you to start to tune into those, you know, those intuitive abilities that we all have. You know, this is our God-given divine ability. And I think a lot of times life will pull us out and try to disconnect us from that divine conduit that we are. So we have to make a conscious effort every day, every week, every month, and you know, just to continually guide ourselves back to the intuitive body that we are, that intuitive energetic center that we all have. And something like a card deck may be what's right for you to start helping you tune in and get that guidance. Yeah, and I love speaking with Lauren. She's such a beautiful soul, and we have such a great time doing the events that we do together here at the Jersey Shore, among all the other practitioners that we have with us. You know, we have a great group of people that all bring that same love and light to the events. So anyone that's out there that wants to check that out, definitely hop on to any of the social media. You'll be able to, you know, get a link to get your ticket. We'd love to see you there. And Mary Amy and I have some cool events coming up too. We have some stuff that's going to start happening in October. I'm excited for that. Mary Amy, where can anyone find your dream journals? I know you're working on your new book, and I think it's almost done.
I am constantly. I'm
Yeah.
constantly. But I just want to say out there to our listeners and anyone who's following Two Psychics, I want to apologize. We've been flipping around. We're on Spreaker. We're on Blog Talk. We've been, you know, trying to figure it out. And also our dates. We were doing lives back, I guess it was 6 months ago, and it was easy because we came on a certain time, and now you're trying to find us. Where are we? When are we live? And so here we are, and we're not. It's not every Thursday morning. We're going to set up a schedule, hopefully, where it's it's going to be a specific date and time, and then you can definitely watch us live, because we want you out there to comment and give us input and ask us for a reading. We love doing live readings, don't we, Michael? And I'm going to go back to doing a visualization, right, Michael?
And that's why it's important they jump onto our social media, you know, and like and follow Two Psychics Podcast on Facebook. Follow Mary Amy's page, my Eye of the Spiritual Michael Edley's page, because whenever it is happening, until we have that consistent day and time, you know, which we are working towards right now, jump on our social media, because we will be posting it and we will let you know several days in advance. This is the time and the place to be. So yeah, we absolutely would love to have you here. If you've been waiting to get a reading, because, you know, with myself or with Mary Amy, you know, you might be able to jump on live and get a collective reading from us on the Two Psychics Podcast.
I just want to say thank you again, and you guys have been so supportive. And follow our Facebook page, Two Psychics Podcast. Now you can find all my information on maryamyofficial.com. You can find everything in relation to Michael on eyeofthespirits.com. And next week, every week we have a guest. So next week we'll be back, and we have all of our podcasts posted on iTunes if you want to listen to it, Amazon, Apple, and then it's on YouTube, Rumble, and Spreaker. So
don't forget
thank you so
Spotify.
much. And
I was just listening to it on Spotify.
Were you listening to it? And you know what? We love feedback. So just follow us on social media. We're all on Instagram. We're all on Facebook. And get in touch with us if you want a reading. We are going to be doing some live events, and we're going to start to have a little tour. And we're going to have live events, the two of us together. It's going to be very exciting. And maybe you'll meet us live. So everyone, thank you so much for today. And reach out to us if you want. It was nice seeing you, Michael.
You too, everyone. And if you want to find some good meditation music, Divine Journey of a Mystic Soul, streaming on all platforms. Check it out. And don't forget to jump on Amazon and get Mary Amy's Dream Journal.
My dream journal, or my children's book, or my White Light Prophecies. Thank you, everyone.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Welcome to Two Psychics. This is Michael Edley, evidential medium and mystic, discussing all things spiritual.
Hello, I'm Mary Amy of Two Psychics, an intuitive wisdom coach, tapping into your mystical life and sharing messages I receive about you.